As global crises, including armed conflicts, natural disasters, climate change, and more, escalate, the demand for aid has outpaced available funding from the state, leaving a significant life-threatening gap in essential services. Caleb Danladi Foundation, CDF, a non-governmental organization dedicated to transforming lives, empowering individuals, building resilient societies, and bridging the gap created by poverty in rural communities across Nigeria, takes off some of these essential services from the government. Established in 2014 with a commitment to advancing humanitarian services, child education, STEM innovation, youth and women empowerment, health initiatives, climate action, and sustainable development. The Caleb Danladi Foundation is guided by core values that include integrity, equity and inclusion, collaboration, innovation, sustainability, and valuing people, cultures, and the unique identity of every community impacted. CDF implements programs across 5 strategic areas to create sustainable impact in communities: education and STEM innovation, youth and women empowerment, health and well-being, humanitarian relief and community resilience, climate action, and sustainable livelihoods. At the Caleb Danladi Foundation, people are considered the greatest asset, and therefore compassion, integrity, inclusion, innovation, and dedication to uplifting vulnerable populations is the mantra. Captain Caleb Danladi Bako, a seasoned master mariner with over 15 years of professional experience in the shipping, oil and gas, and maritime logistics sectors. He holds a PhD in international logistics, supply chain, and shipping, bringing both academic depth and practical expertise to the global maritime industry. Beyond his professional career, Captain Bako is a humanitarian and philanthropist, passionately committed to community development and social impact. He is the founder and chief executive officer of the Caleb Danladi Foundation.
The NGO is based off concern first. Concern, what do I mean is I was concerned for the underprivileged and also for people living in the rural areas and also those who are underserved. For instance, we have people who could not afford school fees, people who could not meet their daily needs, people who could not afford healthcare. That is concern. And then there is also passion for it. So I have passion to support humanity. I grew up in an environment where things are not working well. Why do I mean I grew up in an environment where you have a lot of poor people around? So I made it a point of duty that if God helped me to excel, I'm going to give back to the society. There are different forms to give back. Even the poor also give back to the society. So that's what actually inspired me. I've seen where young students have the potentials to go to school, but because they don't have anybody to support them, they could not go to school. And what happened? When you are not educated, you are prone to violence, you are prone to different kind of societal things. And I've also seen women who, because of lack of access to healthcare, they die during childbirth. So that's also what inspired me to set up this health insurance for rural women. There are also issues of people who also cannot afford daily living because it's either they are not educated or they don't have adequate skills. So that is also why we also set up the skills center in rural areas to enable those who don't have hope, who are hopeless, to be able to have some of hope.
The NGO has been in existence for 14 years now. Its focus areas are shared.
We have core areas where we focused. First of all, when we started small. We focus mainly on widows and orphans. But as time goes on, we try to change our aims and narratives to meet the societal needs, because the world is changing. Changes comes through infrastructural development. Now we are in the world of AI. So we have programs based on youth development where we'll be able to train youth and equip them with all the necessary skills to excel. Then we also have a program on women entrepreneurship where we train women about financial literacy, and also we give them startup pack to start something. We have also seen women in the past. We have seen impact stories where they have excelled. We also have a program called STEM for rural children. So when it comes to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, between the urban areas and the rural areas is not even. While the urban areas have gone far, the rural areas are lacking behind. So we have this program where we support them on digital literacy. We expose them to STEM through innovation. We ask them to submit their innovative ideas, and the best ones are being picked and are rewarded. And in some cases, we offer them scholarships and sponsorship. Still part of STEM, we also have a program that is embedded, which is JAM and WAEC. So we sponsored students on JAM and WAEC. So in the last 14 years, yes, we have been able to sponsor more than 1,000 students through JAM and WAEC. So, and we have seen the impact in communities before where students don't go to school. Now we are beginning to see students going to school gradually, and some have even graduated. Even though, to measure impact takes a long period of time, but the outcome, we are seeing the immediate outcome. Then we also have a community development program. Community development program, if we go to a particular community and we realize they don't have access to water, we support them. We drill borehole for them for access to water. And we also have some interventions, such as during humanitarian crisis, we support with relief materials. And in some communities also, for instance, in Sambangida, we have a skill acquisition center now that we built, and people in that community are also benefiting. We also have other community projects. For instance, we have renovated primary schools in the past, which is part of community project, and we have community town hall meetings where we advocate for the issue of out-of-school children. During International Day of Widows, we discuss about widowhood and how community can be able to come and speak for widows, which is very important. It's part of our community-based intervention. Then, now, most recently, we are advocating for climate change, because everywhere, the world is changing. So, under the climate change, we are looking at encouraging people to continue to plant trees, discouraging rural women from using firewood. We are trying to propose a pilot project where we support the rural women with cooking gas, but during our need assessment, we found out that some of their gas filling outlets are quite far from those rural areas, which will make it very difficult. So that is one of the things that is slowing down our implementation. However, we have been raising awareness about the importance of preserving the climate, which is important. Then we also have a program that deals mainly with girls. In that program, what we do is we support them with learning materials, we support them with books, and then we extend it beyond girls to also boys, because it's not only girls that are underserved in those communities, but we give priority to girls and boys. And at the moment, we have distributed over 150,000 exercise books to those girls and boys in the rural areas. And we are also supporting girls when it comes to menstrual hygiene, because some of them are absent from school because they don't have sanitary pads. So we support them with sanitary pads, and we are trying to set up a mechanism in school, whereas a girl, when she just comes to school during her menstrual cycle, she can be able to pick up the sanitary pad, which is very important. So those are some of our projects at the moment.
Funding and other challenges are highlighted.
I have always done bulk of the work. I use my finance to do bulk of the work. However, we have been getting support from friends and from families, which we really appreciate our partners for the support they are giving us. Recently, we are looking at collaborating with other sisters NGOs to be able to reach out to the underserved communities, which we strongly believe that will soon complete the process. So in a nutshell, we are doing our best. We are investing our resources when it comes to these humanitarian services, and we have other people that support us. But for the partnership, we are still working on it to see how we'll get partners in the future. But 90 to 95% of the funds comes from me.
Investing in women and girls, to Caleb, is of utmost priority.
And why we focus more on female, because if you look at our society today, we need to empower women. When you empower a woman, you are empowering the entire community, and you are breaking a cycle of poverty. I will take you through most of our projects. Let's take, for instance, our Women Entrepreneurship Program. So we believe that if you train a woman and you support her, she will be able to earn a living. And based on our impact assessment, we found out that it's not about the number, but it's about the impact. We found out that most of the women we train, after 2-3 years, they are able to stand on their own. They are able to cater for their families. They are also able to send their children to school. And if you look at some in our society today and some of the demography, some of the villages today, they don't like sending women to school. They strongly believe that women are supposed to be at home while the males are being sent to school. So we try to change this narrative by ensuring that we support girl-child education. Because if you educate a girl today, she'll be able to understand herself. She'll be able to understand her body. And for every year she spent in primary or secondary school, it increases her earning, it increases her awareness. And when she eventually married at the right age, we are not talking about early girl-child marriage, at the right age, because we are against early girl-child marriage and we will continue to be against it. So when she married, she'll be able to know how to take care of her children. When it's time for vaccine, she'll be able to know the type of vaccine she'll give her kids. But when a girl is not educated, she doesn't even know how to prevent herself from common communicable disease. She doesn't even know when to take her children to vaccine, which is serious. So we strongly believe that by educating a woman, she knows the importance of education. She'll be able to educate her own children, and her own children will be able to educate the fourth generation. So by doing that, you are breaking the cycle of poverty, which is important. Then when it comes to STEM education, while we prioritize girls, if you look at the demography today, we have less than 20% of women in STEM. So our aim is to increase this number to at least 50%, even if we are not getting there. Our aim is to see gender equality. So we are also complying with SDGs. So to ensure that there is gender equality in workplace, in school, and also to promote quality education among girls and among boys, which is important. So, and we have been able to see girls now that we are under our own sponsorship. Some of these girls want to study engineering. That simply means they are breaking the barrier, which is important. So it's not only girls we focus, we also focus on young entrepreneurs, young boys that also have the vision and also wants to progress in life. Part of our focus also about menstrual hygiene, because some of these girls are from rural homes, they are from poor homes, that they cannot be able to afford menstrual pad. And most of the times during their exams, they tend to miss exams because they are in their menstrual cycle, and then they are being laid back, and at the end they don't go to school. So we ensure that we give them this sanitary pad so that they will not miss their school, they will not miss their exams, and also we provide them with at least clean water, which is part of the community project, so that some girls, they don't like to go to school because there is no clean water in school, especially during their menstrual cycle. So that's why we focus on that, to be able to see that the weaker ones have opportunity to excel.
The foundation is run by a team that is passionate, committed, and compassion-driven.
When we started, first, I started with team of volunteers with 2 coordinators. So one coordinator runs most of the activities in the village, And I make sure that he's somebody that is a grassroots person. He knows everything in the village. He knows people in the village, and he can be able to get to any village I send him. He's familiar with them. And I have one of my coordinator in this rural urban area. So that one is literate. He understands how to attend meetings even in my absence, how to write reports, how to reach out to people. During selection, he's not being biased, which is very important. So when we register the organization and we begin to grow big, we now recruit staff, but we don't have much. We only have 5 staffs at the moment. So out of those 5, we have a program officer, we have a communication officer, we have a social media officer, then we have the 2 coordinators. We will still have them. But we have a lot of volunteers. We have over 70 volunteers at the moment. And the volunteers have been on huge support to us. They have been supporting us through our projects. And sometimes we feel that they are actually permanent staff. They work on volunteering basis.
Meeting needs of Caleb Danladi Foundation is beyond daily bread.
There's a community that have close to 250 widows, and we wanted to train those widows on financial literacy and also empower them. But it was in phases, so we have to explain to them, okay, we'll start with this group of people. The next phase will involve the next group of people, but it's not an easy task because some people will feel that they are being left behind. So another challenge also is logistics constraint. There are areas that you cannot reach. For instance, if we want to carry out our digital literacy for rural students and there is no internet connectivity in that particular area is also a challenge. If there is no school that will use as centers for training is also a challenge, which is a serious challenge. And then also the people's attitude is people are resistant to change, which is really difficult. For instance, if we want to carry out a seminar about the issue of girl child education or to address the issue of out-of-school children, you have to be careful in some demography. It's very important and it's crucial. So every activity comes with its own challenge. It's peculiar to, for instance, if we are to carry out STEM education, there are challenges of connectivity. If we are to carry out women entrepreneurship, there are, apart from funding, you have also challenges of selection bias. Some women will collect this money instead of going into any form of business. No, they would rather use it to settle their immediate needs. So it's very difficult. Then later on they'll start calling for another. So it's difficult. So if you are also going into community projects, if you are prioritizing your own project according to your aim, the community also have their own priority. The traditional ruler also wants something to be done. He wants a borehole to be sited in his compound. So these are challenges that we have. We are talking about climate change, but they're still burning bushes. Women still go to fetch firewood to use to produce charcoal for their daily living. So above all, I think poverty also is a driving factor.
Beneficiaries of CDF are numerous and are always grateful.
In fact, he's a God-sent person. It's not like, just as one of our chiefs said, not like the politicians, that they will go and get to come and give us. No, he is waiting. It is out of his pocket, out of his sweat, that he always give out to widows. And we really say he is a God-sent person.
Every day I always pray for Caleb Danladi because of what he is doing to us. I always tell my God, I have nothing to give him. Only God will provide for that man.
Duk abin da ya ci ma gwamraye da marayu muna ce mun gode mishi. Allah ya raya shi, Allah sa ya fi haka. Akwai wa'anda a garin nan wa'anda kalla ma bai kai su kuɗi ba amma ba su a taimakon mu. Amma gashi Kalbe ya zo yana goya mu. Muna ce ma kalla mun gode. Allah ya ƙara mishi mutunci, Allah ƙara mishi girma. Kalla wannan abin da yake mana ya ɗauki gadon baban shi ne. Kuma idan Allah ya sa Caleb zai fi baban shi, muna gode mishi, Allah ya raya shi.
Alhamdulillah, Mr. Caleb duk wani abu wanda zai abin da ya shafi wani program ko wani abu ko tallafi na abin da ya shafi hidima na musulunci, Caleb yana yi da mu. Allah saka mishi da alheri. Allah saka maka da alheri. Allah sa ƴaƴanka gaje ka kuma da kake tallafa mana da sauran marayu Allah ubangiji ya hore mana arzikin da zamu Allah ya taimake ka.
The foundation has some collaborators and volunteers.
We are planning a training on digital literacy in rural areas, and one of the flagship community in FCT is KT community, and there's a company called NeoCloud, and NeoCloud said, oh, okay, you have the computers, we have the technical expertise, we will come and train these people, we will develop a curriculum to suit their needs, and then they are certified service providers, and upon completion they will issue them with certificate. So that's huge. We have also partnered with Kaduna State government through the Kaduna State Comprehensive Health Insurance Scheme, KACHMA, to support women with affordable health insurance scheme. We paid for them, and in most instances when I paid for this health insurance, if I paid for 300, the Kaduna State government say, we are seeing your work, you are doing remarkably well, we are supporting you with 25 and 30 women for free. So those are our partners and our areas collaboration. Most recently, we are collaborating with also SOBEB in Kaduna State to see how we can be able to train teachers on digital literacy, and also how to train primary school pupils on STEM education. And the executive chairman of SOBEB has been helpful. In short, every day his executive assistant reached out to me on how we can collaborate. In short, for government, he called me to say, oh, what support do you need? So these are areas of collaboration. So the Ministry of Youth, the commissioner also reached out to me for collaboration, which is commendable.
At the heart of these philanthropists is expansion to include at least the 6 geopolitical zones of the country.
We have a short-term, medium, and long-term plan. But in the medium, these are short-term plans. In the medium plan, we intend to extend to southeast and southwest. And in the long term, we hope that we'll have presence in every state in the country. So for this year, our digital skill training and digital literacy, we intend to extend it to at least a state in the southeast, a state in the southwest, a state across the 6 geopolitical zones. That's our aim. So the aim is to train students so that we can get that 700 numbers. It's not going to be in one particular geopolitical zone. It's going to go around so that we can have presence there. Our impact will be felt. So when it comes to financial literacy for women, so our intention now is to start training women on financial literacy and see how these women themselves will come up and set up a kind of small microfinance organization where they can contribute their money and then use it to run business together. We can provide some sort of intervention. So our intention also is to expand this training to the 6 geopolitical zones and select one state in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. So when it comes to STEM, we are going to open what we call STEM competition, and it's going to go around the country. We want to look for students who have brilliant, innovative ideas. And then the first 3, we're going to offer them scholarships, and we will try our best to see how we can pursue their innovation for commercial implementation, which is important. But above all, in the long run, we want our impact to be felt across the country.
He shares some success stories of this organization.
Our health insurance scheme, in short, we are receiving remarkable stories from beneficiaries. So people who ordinarily cannot afford 10,000 naira to go to hospital, today they can go to hospital for free. And I want to use this opportunity to thank my governor and also the DG of KACHMA for what they are doing, because they have done really well. They have laid the foundation and we have an enabling ground. Now they have sent forms for me, KACHMA. And then they said, okay, you are doing well when it comes to humanitarian services. Okay, you can register this number of people and pay in installmental basis. So I don't have to pay all at once. I'll be paying it on installmental basis, and they also gives me discount, and they also support me. For instance, the last December that I supported women entrepreneur, the DG of Kachma and Kaduna State government, they supported my work. And then in all my events, the government presence is there, because the chairman of our local government or the vice chairman or the secretary or a representative from Kachma is always there. And Kachma are there to also raise awareness, because some people feel that, okay, if I register for health insurance, it's only going to cover headache or fever. No, we have a lot of people that have undergone surgery through Kachma. And also in Kaduna State, even child delivery is also free through the Kachma scheme, so which is commendable. So we want to extend this scheme also across the 6 geopolitical zone, and by the end of this year we want to have at least 1,500 enrollees, because in Kaduna State already we have already passed the threshold of 700. So we need to get to that 1,500 enrollees. I think we'll have a better number by the mid-year.
The communities reached are made to be intra-part of these projects.
We make sure that the villagers themselves are part of our program, so that there is this sense of ownership. And we ensure that during our stakeholders engagement, all of them are there, the youths, the religious leaders, the organizations, so they have this sense of ownership.
Caleb expresses his fulfillment for what he does.
For me, if I'm able to make a positive impact to the society, I think that's my aim in life today. Because today we live in a world that is uncertain. I don't know when I'll be alive tomorrow, but the greatest thing is the footprint, the impact, that's the legacy that I've left behind. So I feel fulfilled and I feel happy. And then whenever I do a project, I feel happy. Whenever we finish a project, I feel happy. I don't really care about how much I spend for that project, because I'm not into a profit-making venture. All I'm after is making a positive impact, touching lives, and make sure that people that don't have hope have hope. People who sees beyond today can see tomorrow. People who cannot go to school can be able to afford school and also take care of their family.
Reaching out to the less privileged addresses immediate needs like food, shelter, clothing, medical care, money, and the likes. Helps in fostering hope and essential for survival. Providing long-term support as in offering education, vocational training, mentorship, and the likes helps individuals gain skills for self-sufficiency. The Caleb Danladi Foundation, CDF, provides well-structured solutions to meeting immediate and long-term needs of individuals and communities in Nigeria.